Hello everybody. Welcome to the second attempt at doing this video. I have a small book haul. There's like 11 books. Yeah, I had this all done, rambling on, blah blah blah. Went to upload it, and apparently 5 minutes in it cut and then started a new video. And right after it started, it paused it. So there was no information in that file at all. We're just starting over. Okay, so let's start with the bigger books so that I can stack them easier. We'll start with a children's book, a picture book called Travels with Zozo Under the Moonbow. Looks cute on the cover, at least. I don't know anything about the story. A moonbow is a rainbow produced by moonlight instead of sunlight. And we're going to have different animals and things. And I will likely be doing... oh, that's interesting. I'll probably do a story time and read this one, hopefully in time for Easter. This is book 5 of the Travels with Zozo series by A.J. Atlas, illustrated by Anne Zemansky. I thought this was interesting. It's got a little embossed thing here in the corner that says, "Not intended for resale. Please pass along to a charitable organization. Thank you." I got it out of the freebie box at the library. But if I didn't get it there, I got it at the little free library. So one of those places. So it wasn't, a purchase. It was a pass along. This looks like it might be fun. There's some elephants. My niece Zoe loves elephants. She's way too old for the book, though. She's in 5th grade now, I think. Something like that. I have Library of Souls, which is the 3rd Miss Peregrine book. I previously hauled Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children and Hollow City. So now I got book 3. I love these stories, and I really love the pictures. So I kind of wanted to have copies of the books of my own. And slowly but surely I'm finding them in the library giveaway box. Then I picked up one called Masterpieces from World Literature. And when I got it home, I noticed underneath it says Classics for Christians, Volume 2. But it's not strictly like religious stuff. They're tying it into religion in some form, I'm sure. But we've got things like Homer and Alexander Pope and John Donne and Aesop and Sophocles and Plato and who else is in here? Aristotle and Plutarch and Ovid and Virgil. And then you've got a couple things like the Gospel of Luke and the Gospel of John, with the birth of Christ, and then Christ the Savior, which includes John 3:16, that everybody always holds up signs about at sporting events and things, which I find very odd, but whatever. Who else? Dante, Boccaccio, Machiavelli, Rabelais, Martin Luther, Shakespeare, Cervantes. There's a segment of Don Quixote. Don Quixote is super, super long, but when you get about, say, 2/3 of the way through, it feels like it's starting to repeat itself. Let's see, Descartes, John Milton, John Bunyan, Isaac Newton. Did I already say Rousseau? We got Rousseau, we got the Brothers Grimm, we got Goethe, a segment from Faust, we've got Herman Melville with a segment out of Moby Dick, George Eliot with a segment out of Silas Marner, some Dostoevsky. So, there's a lot of interesting pieces in here. So I don't know how it necessarily works with the whole Christian thing, but I'm sure it's got explanations, and I'm wondering where I can find volume 1. And then I got 8 books that are Goosebumps or Goosebumps related. The first one is Goosebumps Horrorland, number 1, Revenge of the Living Dummy. So Slappy's back. And then we got Goosebumps number 5, The Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. Number 10, The Ghost Next Door. Number 31, Night of the Living Dummy 2. Well, too bad I didn't get volume 1 as well. It would have been kind of nice to have all of them, but whatever. The whole Dummy series. 37, The Headless Ghost. 39, How I Got My Shrunken Head. 41, Bad Hair Day. That might be worth an Easter read. But not a video. I don't have time to do a video reading a book that long. 42, Egg Monsters from Mars. I don't know. Would that count as an Easter story as well? Because it's eggs? Okay, so my mind goes weird. Whatever. I'll set this over here out of the way. So in the previous incarnation of this video, I talked this whole story about different things that happened in the house, because having an old house is an adventure in itself. I don't know. Is it worth repeating all of that? Now that I've mentioned it, you're probably going, well, you've mentioned it. Go ahead and tell us. Okay, so it's been close to a month now. At least 3 weeks. Going on a month. My client and I were talking about just random things, and I said, kind of out of the blue, that I think I need to get somebody in to look at the floor in my bathroom. So there's a soft spot, and I'm afraid one of these days I'm going to take a step and fall through the floor. This was like on a Wednesday, right? The next day, Thursday, definitely on a Thursday, I had gone into the bathroom and I was finishing up what I was doing, and I took a step and my foot went through the floor, and I was in the floor up to my knee, all scraped and bruised, and I managed to claw my way out and get up and everything. No serious injuries, mostly just scrapes and bruises on my leg. And I got a bruise here on my wrist, and I'm not sure if it came from that or if that's from dealing with my client's dog. But my wrist was achy, but it didn't start hurting until about 2 days later. So I probably sprained it when I fell. Luckily, I didn't hit my head or anything. As it was, I had been picking up all kinds of extra shifts because one of the girls I work with fell in her bathtub and hit her head. They took her to the squad and everything to the ER to make sure she was okay, and had her on concussion protocol to make sure she didn't have a concussion, or if she did, they could take care of it. And so she was off for several days, and I picked up some of her shifts, or at least parts of her shifts. So I ended up with a lot of overtime that week. And I contacted my brother and said, there's a hole in my floor. Can you come help me? And he's like, I can't this weekend, but I can the next weekend. See if you've got a piece of wood or something you can put over it. Luckily, I had what was basically the butcher block top off of the old dishwasher we had. And when it went kaput, we removed the top so I could use it to kind of put over the sink in my kitchen to give me more counter space for like when we did Thanksgiving and stuff. Because I have like no counter space. So I took that and I had set it over the hole because it was nice and thick and pretty good. We could step on it and we're not going to go through it, right? So we dealt with that, and he came down and got here on a Friday night. So he could, by the time he got here and we got all settled and everything, it was too late to start because he's going to have to take out the sink and the toilet, and we couldn't go overnight without a toilet. I mean, I'm not going to go overnight without a toilet. And so then Saturday morning, we got up a little bit late, but, you know, we were all tired. And we went into Athens. The idea was we're going to get breakfast, then pick up the stuff we needed to fix the floor and come home. Well, we didn't leave here until, you know, almost lunch. So by the time we got there, and we went to IHOP to get food, and by the time we got there and everything, it was lunchtime. So, you know, my brother and I got chicken and waffles, and my son got chocolate chip pancakes. And there's a thing I wanted to order. I wanted to try the crepes. They've been advertising their new crepes a lot lately, and I wanted to try them. We're out of crepe batter. We can't do the crepes today. And I was like, you're a pancake place. How can you be out of batter? And then they came back after William ordered. He ordered the chocolate chip pancakes. They said, we're out of the chocolate batter. Would regular chocolate chip be okay? And he's like, yeah, fine, no problem. And anyway, we ate lunch, sat and chit-chatted for a while, and then we're like, you know what, this isn't getting that floor done. So we went over to Lowe's, which is kind of diagonal across the street. And we got the wood and some screws so he could mount the flooring to the joists and everything. When we got back, he started tearing out... Well, he removed the sink and the toilet and started tearing out the floor. And because the bathroom is small, only one person can really fit in there to do work. So to get out of his way, William and I went to the library for like 2 hours. By the time we left here and got there, they were only open until 5 on Saturday. So no, they're open till 6 on Saturday. So by the time we got there, it was almost 4. So we were there roughly 2 hours, which is good because it let me get some stuff done on the challenges I needed to post for the group I have on, or I'm part of, on Goodreads. Anyway, we get back and he's got almost all the floor out. The sink is sitting in the kitchen. The toilet's sitting in the yard next to the old toilet, which never got taken to the dump or anything. I think we might turn it into a flower pot. Kind of a pun there, right? Anyway, he was ready for a break. We were ready to go get dinner. So we cleaned up the best we could under the circumstances, and we went to Parkersburg to Red Lobster. Just because none of us had been there in a long time. His wife doesn't like seafood, so they never go. William and I just, well, for the last year we hadn't worked, or I hadn't worked. He went once while he was still with the inventory company, when he was out on the road, and I was home with my knee being injured. And so we went there. Cost quite a bit. With tax and tip and everything, we spent $120. It was 3 of us. It was a once a year kind of deal anyway. Maybe twice if we're really, whooping it up. And I'm still getting off cheap on this deal, because if I would have called somebody to come in and fix that floor, it would have been $1,000 job easy. With food and everything and the building supplies, I got off with about $300. So I'm not complaining. I thought that was good. It was fun. We had a good meal. Came home. It was, 11:30, I guess, when we actually got home. He tore out the last little section of flooring, put the new boards in, reinstalled the toilet. And it's about, 2:30, I guess, he came in and was like, It ended up waking me up. I was watching a video and just trying to stay out of his way while he was working, and he woke me up and was like, yeah, you've got a toilet. You got a floor and you got a toilet. I'm like, yay. The wood we got, the boards are that pressure treated lumber that they use to build decks, outdoor decks. He's like, it's strong. It's going to resist any water that gets on it because it's designed to be out in the weather. So, it should be fine. The one problem is we ended up with 3 extra boards, but there's a 4-inch gap between the edge of the floor and the wall. Because apparently, when he measured, we figured it all out, but we didn't account for the fact that a 6-inch wide board is actually only like 5.5 inches. So we ended up with like a 4-inch gap. And he didn't have the right equipment to try to rip down one of the 6-inch boards to a 4-inch board. But it's not that big a deal at the moment. It can wait until he comes back down and we can get another board. Because the toilet sits on a piece of plywood. Because it had something to do with when he installed it back in the fall. Something to do with the flange. He had to replace the flange because the one that was originally there had basically disintegrated. That's why my bathroom kept flooding. Anyway, I don't know if that was a story in one of my other vlogs or not, but back in the fall, when I first started my job, he came down and had to, work on reinstalling the toilet and everything. I think that's the last time we went to IHOP, too. Anyway, there's this gap in that plywood covers about roughly 3 feet of it. Then that board that we used to cover the hole, we have it covering another like 2 feet or so. Then there's about a 8-inch gap where you can actually see this 4-inch wide hole. So it's a 4x8 hole. And then the sink. And then we have a dresser that we keep in there, which covers the rest of it. So it's not like we're going to be stepping in the hole or anything. And I haven't found like a piece of wood or anything to stick in that gap. But I bought a new trash can for my bedroom when it's a little bigger than what I had, but not like a full-size kitchen one, if that makes any sense. And I took the one that was in here and put it in the bathroom, and it fits perfectly over that hole. So I'm not worried about like dropping anything down in it, like my phone or any of that. So luckily, I now have a bathroom floor. Yay! Bathroom floors are a good thing. But, meanwhile, after he said he was coming down, I went to work one day, and you may have noticed there's a blanket hanging on my wall. That's because while I was at work one night, we don't know exactly what happened, but in this room, the piece of paneling popped out. It kind of, there's a bulge and it just popped out. On the other side of it is the lath where the plaster had fallen off of it a couple years ago. Just the lath that goes down along the stairs into the basement. And we weren't worried about that because, it's the basement. Who cares, right? But this popped out, and then all this cold air was coming up, and the dust and the mold and all that. I had to cover it because it was blowing in my face and I was feeling sick. And I already had a sinus infection. It just made it worse. And I was just like, okay, fine, we're going to cover it up. Because I can't sleep with that cold air blowing in my face. And that same night, apparently whatever happened, William said he had gone into the bathroom and he was sitting there on the toilet, and the curtain on the window, which is right next to where the toilet is, fell on him. Like the rod just and we had like the cafe style curtain, with the valance up at the top and then the 2 short pieces. Well, that's the short pieces are what fell. And he said, I tried to put it back up, but I couldn't get it to stay. I said, don't worry about it. I wanted to get rid of those curtains anyway. This is just telling me it's time to get rid of them. So I threw those curtains out because they were disgusting. Oh boy, were they disgusting. They were in the house before my parents bought it and never got taken down. And they were old, and the holes were getting worn through, like moth-eaten holes. Really nasty. There was dust on them, and there was some staining from where they'd been up for so long. And it was just like, let's get rid of them. So we threw away the bottom ones. I don't use ladders. I refuse to get on a ladder. They didn't make me nervous, especially with my size and everything. And the one I have is old, and I'm afraid I'm going to step on it and it break, and I go. Anyway, and he doesn't like ladders because he's afraid of heights. So the balance is still up, and I forgot to ask my brother to pull it down while he was here. So I guess it can stay until he comes back. It's not that big a deal. I'm not even sure when he's coming. He said maybe sometime over the summer. Anyway, that happened. This came out, and like a stack of stuff that was sitting on the kitchen table that we were getting ready to take to the recycling place went scattered all over the floor. So I walk in the door and I see this stuff scattered on the floor, and I'm like, what on earth? And I walked into the bathroom. Now, I came in this room, set my stuff down on the bed, didn't even notice the wall at that point because I was too busy thinking about, I need to do this, that, and the other thing. I went in the bathroom, saw the curtain yanked down, and I was like, what on earth? Did what I needed to do in there, got a drink, came back into this room, and noticed that. The calendar used to be where the edge is that popped out. So it was laying on the bed, and everything was covered in dust. Some of the stuff that was on the nightstand was knocked on the floor. And I'm like, what's happening here? It was just insanity. So we never did figure out what caused that. He said he heard a noise, and then the curtain fell on him. I was like, wonder what, what was going on. Was the noise he heard this coming out? Or was this caused by whatever made a noise? I don't know. I wasn't even here. I just came home to it. So, unfortunately, we didn't have time to work on fixing that when my brother was down. There was plenty to do with him fixing the bathroom. And, Saturday, he went to bed about 2:30, 3 o'clock. Got up Sunday. He put in the sink. And I was like, what do you want to go get something to eat? And you're like, yeah. And we went to, where did we go? We went to Fox's Pizza and got a couple pizzas and some fried dill pickles and sat and chatted for a while because, we don't see them very often. A couple times a year maybe. And usually they come down at Thanksgiving time, like the weekend before Thanksgiving. And sometimes they come either in the spring or summer, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes we only see them once in a year. And it's not, for lack of trying. He knows there's an open invitation. He can come anytime. But anyway, Adventures of an Old House. And we've been having so much rain and horrible windstorms. We're supposed to have another windstorm tomorrow. The last one knocked our power out for 12 hours? Something like that. Which, in the scheme of things, we've had worse power outages, but, I had to go hunt for food because I couldn't cook anything here before going to work. And ended up going across the bridge into Mason, West Virginia to get, I had to get gas anyway. And then I was like, the Chinese place is open. I'll get Chinese. So I did that, and I ended up getting to work an hour early, but I picked up some stuff for the girl that had the shift before mine, and we sat and talked and ate dinner, and it was kind of nice. Had time to just be relaxed and casual instead of, a couple minutes between shifts where, here's what you need to know. And sometimes we have a little more time and can chat a little longer, but usually it's like maybe 15 minutes. They're out the door and I'm in the door, and by the time I get everything situated, it's time to, do a cath at like usually 1 a.m. Sometimes it's different, but usually it's 1 o'clock. Meds and cath, and then fight the dog for 3 hours before we do the next one. His dog's crazy. I don't know if you can see it, but I have bruises all over the back of my hand from where his dog thinks I'm his personal chew toy. And, he nailed me right on the knuckle. Oh, the pain. That hurts so bad. Yeah, dog got put outside for a while. He's a great dog. He really is, but he just hasn't learned that biting people is bad. That we are not chew toys. Of course, a couple of the people that work in the house allow him to chew on them, and I don't. So when I say no, he thinks that's play. It's playtime. Bite, 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 bite. And it's like, no, 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 no. But, yeah. Anyway, currently reading, might as well get into this part too. Currently reading The 7 Moons of Mali Almeida. It's by a Sri Lankan author, Shihan Karunatilaka. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm just kind of sounding it out. It says up here it was shortlisted for the Booker Prize for 2022. It actually won the Booker. That's why I wanted to read it. I heard interesting things about it. I love this cover. So shiny, though, because they put that plastic over it. But it's kind of a abstract mask, and I think that is so neat. It's very, very colorful and bright, and I wish my computer showed better color. But it's about a photographer who... war photographer, gambler, and closet gay, Mali Almeida. And this is set in Colombo in 1990. Anyway, he wakes up dead. His dismembered body is in the lake, and he has no idea who killed him. And basically, he has 7 days to figure out who killed him and contact, the people he loves the most to get them to find this secret stash of photos that he took, to turn them in, and hopefully they do something to help fix the situation in Sri Lanka. My problem is, it's interesting, and I'm a little over halfway. I'm 220 pages in. It's interesting, but I don't know enough of the history. I don't know anything about the history of Sri Lanka, quite honestly. Especially the civil wars that were going on that are referenced constantly throughout this book. I kind of wish I had a better background in that. I think I would understand some of the things better. But I do think it's interesting. I think, it's interesting having the main character be a ghost. And I don't know. I'm enjoying it for the most part. I'm thinking for me it'll probably end up around a 3, just because I don't understand everything that's going on, and I feel that it It may not be the best choice for somebody who doesn't know anything about Sri Lanka and the history, and especially that there even were civil wars back in the 80s. We never heard about it here. So I know nothing, and I'm going in it blind, and I think for somebody like me, it's kind of lacking a little bit. The language is beautiful. There are some really great lines, and I'm like, ooh, I'd like to steal that line and put it in a poem. And there's been several times where I've thought that, because some of the lines are just really great. Let's see. Of course, I can't turn to one that, I don't know. Anyway, I think it's worth a read. Obviously, it won a prestigious award with the Booker. I just think that you might want a little bit of a background, at least something that explained what was going on in the Civil Wars, because I don't know what that means. I don't know what that is on some of the things that they're talking about. So, anyway, very interesting. I have maybe 5 or 6 other books started that are just floating around here I need to finish. I don't have that much time to read, because my client, if he knows I'm trying to read a book, yells for me like every 5 minutes. Hey, can you get me a drink? Hey, can you fix me something to eat? Hey, can you turn on the heat? Hey, can you fix the blankets? Hey, can you... It's just like, dude, when I say, is there anything else you need? That's when you ask me to do these other things. You don't wait until I step out of the room and then call me right back after you said, no, I don't need anything. That gets a little old. But on nights when he sleeps, like last night he slept, so I got through a good chunk of the book. It's hard to try to listen to an audiobook there, because I have to be able to hear him if he yells for something. And of course, every 3 hours we have to do things like cath and all that. So anyway, when I talk about cathing, basically they insert a tube into a stoma in their belly, and then we hook a syringe to the end of it and we pull out urine, because he can't do it on his own. We have to do the cath to do that. He's got all kinds of stuff going on that they tried to explain to me how stuff was set up, and I'm like, do I need to know that? And they're like, well, it might be useful. I said, but do I actually need to know how all that works? Because I'm not understanding all of it. They're like, what you need to know is, open the packet, dip it in the lubricant, and hand it to him, and he'll slide the thing in, and all you do is pull the stuff out with the syringe. Like, that's all I need to know. Make it easy on me. Tell me exactly what I need to do and what I need to know. So every 3 hours we do that. And some nights he'll sleep, other nights he's up playing video games or watching TV and yelling for me every 5 minutes if he thinks I'm trying to do something else. Anyway. But it's a good job. And pays decent. I mean, like $12 an hour, it may not sound like a lot, but for the most part, and being on the midnight to 8 a.m. shift, a lot of times he's sleeping. For the most part, I'm sitting there watching television. There might be a handful of dishes to wash. There might be a little laundry to do. But for the most part, I'm sitting there watching television and being eaten by his dog. And I've been getting tons of overtime, because right now we're short-staffed again. So if you live in the Pomeroy, Ohio area, and you don't have a record, and you have a driver's license, you can apply at Inclusions, and they'll train you everything you need to know to work in whichever houses they put you in. But we're short-handed, we could really use some staff. But yeah, on overtime, I'm getting paid $18 an hour to sit and watch TV for most of it. I'm fine with that. So, and you get bonuses, and bonuses are based on, hours worked. So I got my first bonus, and it was a good one. A lot of people are like, it was less than I thought it would be. I was like, I didn't know what to expect. I was happy. It was good money. So I was able to pay my brother in food, take him out to dinner all those times, and between the 3 meals with him plus the McDonald's meal that my son and I had while we were waiting on him to get here, plus all the stuff from Lowe's, I got out about $350, which is not bad considering it probably would have cost me over $1,000 if I would have called somebody in. And I got time with my brother, which I never get. So, okay, I've been rambling on and on and on and on. Upcoming videos, I've got 2 Temu orders out. The one was supposed to already have been here, but they had some sort of delay, and they gave me a $5 credit. And then the updated time frame that they gave me said it was supposed to be here on the 31st, and it hasn't arrived yet. So on the 1st, they gave me another $5 credit. And I think I read somewhere on their site that if it takes more than a certain amount of time for your order to get to you, then they will refund your money, but you still get your order. So I'm waiting to see what's going on. The last thing I saw on the tracking, it's somewhere in New York State. On the 31st, it was boarding the plane. So wherever it was coming from, they sent it to New York. I don't know why it didn't come to Ohio, but whatever. They sent it to New York to some sort of distribution center or whatever for the post office. So hopefully that means it's on its way. I haven't received anything saying it's out for delivery yet, but I may get the second order before I get the first order at the rate things are going. And I've got some stuff in my cart that I want to get, but some of it's t-shirts, and I want to make sure that they're going to fit. So I need the first order to get here so I can try on the shirts to make sure everybody says that they fit true to size, and if that's the case, they'll be fine. They'll fit like this, nice and loose. But you never know. Temu's a Chinese company from what I understand, so. But I think their stuff's better quality than Wish. I've had good luck with the things I've gotten. I've only had 2 things that I was disappointed in. And one was the little scrubby thing for in the shower, because it fell apart within 2 weeks. And I've had some before that held up for like 2 years before they fell apart. So I don't know if it was just a bad one out of the batch or if they, sell bad ones. But I saw one that looked exactly the same at the dollar store. And I thought, I wonder if I should get that one. And I ended up going ahead and getting it. And it's lasted me now a couple months. So I think maybe it was just a fluke that it was a bad one out of the batch. And the other problem I had was the skull ice cube thing. Ice cube mold. Because the silicone they use to make it is too thin. So that when you fill it full of water, it separates and the water just flows all over everywhere. It makes a mess. If you can get the water to stay in it, it makes really cute skull ice cubes. The problem is, it is too flimsy. They need a better quality silicone to make the mold. I don't know if it would work better maybe as a chocolate mold. I don't know. But as an ice cube mold, the water's too much pressure to let it hold together. So I'm happy with the things I've been getting. I just need them to show up now. There's all kinds of things out there right now where you can earn free items and what have you. and I can't figure out how to get the link so that I can post it where, y'all might be able to click it or whatever. If I can figure it out, I'll put it in the description box. If I can't figure it out, you go to Temu and you can do your own. There's Fishland, there's Farmland, there's Flipkart, I think is what the other one's called. Where you just put those things in the search. Fishland's fun. You get to feed the fish. And once you collect 6 fish, you get your item for free. Farmland, you have to plant wheat and tomatoes. And after you collect a certain amount of points or gold or whatever from selling your crops, then you get your item for free. Right now on that one, I am stuck until I can get somebody who doesn't already have a Temu account to sign up with my link, because I can't get tomato seeds otherwise, which kind of sucks. And I have to have tomatoes to collect the next batch of gold. I got so much wheat, I don't know what to do with it all. I need tomatoes, and right now I can't get anybody who hasn't done the app yet to do it. So, oh well, I may not get that item for free. It is one I would kind of like to have, but I don't want to buy it for myself. But if I can get it for free, I'll, sure, I'm all about it. It's this little stuffed Highland cow, and it is so freaking cute. But I don't want to buy it for myself. Anyway. So upcoming videos, we'll have a couple Temu hauls coming. I've got this little bin of goodies here that's for Easter. And some of these things will be taste test things. I don't know if we've done the Tropical Sour Patch Kids and Swedish Fish or not, but I found Jell-O jelly beans. And I was like, okay, we'll try those. And then I found a whole line of flavored licorices by a company I've never heard of. And I was like, well, we'll do a video on that. I know we have cereal to do one on, which of course I didn't even know existed until I found it on the clearance bin. And I'm like, I wish they would put it, out so that it exists before it's on clearance. But what do I know? For whatever reason, they hide it, and then, oh, it's time to get rid of it. Let's put it on clearance. Well, now I'm never going to see it again, because it was like the last box or whatever. Anyway, maybe that's why it went clearance. People didn't know about it, or they didn't like it. I don't know. We'll have to find out. But I got a few things, so we'll have a couple taste test videos coming. I hope to do the story time with the rabbit book. So I got some stuff coming. I just need to find enough time to do it. Time when I'm not running 6,000 different directions. The goal is April 14th to go to the movie. We haven't gone to the movie since Jungle Cruise came out. And we only went to see that because we had free passes that we got by going to Applebee's. And I think we went for his birthday that year. And spent enough that I got 2 free passes because they were doing some kind of cross promotion. So we went to see Jungle Cruise, and it was fun. It was a good movie. Of course, I like The Rock. And I'm pretty sure that's the last time we went to a movie, and that's been quite a while. It was pre-COVID. So now we're looking at the 14th to go see a movie, because I keep seeing the ads for Renfield, and I am geeking out about it so bad. I want to go see it. We're going to go see Renfield and make it a double feature with the Mario movie, because he wants to see the Mario movie. And I'm like, cool. I'm down for that. So I think we're going to do a double feature, and then probably hit Buffalo Wild Wings and make a night of it. That's what we used to do. And been a while. So my bottle's empty. Okay, I guess I guess it's a good time for me to go, and it's almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I need to go to bed so I can be up by 10:30 and get ready to go to work. And do the midnight to 8 again. Woohoo! Anyway, I think that's pretty much all I've got for right now. I've been rambling on for, 45 minutes or something? I can't really read it because it's down too far. Anyway, at least it stayed recording this time. Remember to do all the YouTube-y things. Comment, like, share, subscribe. Ring the bell icon to be notified of upcoming future uploads. Should the YouTube gods deem it worthy to let you know that it happened. For whatever reason, I'm still not getting notifications on a lot of the stuff that I'm subscribed to, so I don't know. Neko Fluttershy, if you're interested in gaming, profanity, My Little Pony, he's finally getting monetized. Go check him out, watch a video, if you could, please. Subscribe if you decide you like it. Some of his recent ones have been AI creating inspirational quotes, and those have been so darn funny. I'm really looking forward to that. If I knew where he was doing all this stuff, I would consider doing a couple of them because I think they're hysterical. Anyway, that's all I've got for now. And I just shook the table, so you're having an earthquake. I'm going to get off of here. It's a super long video. And it's the second time I've made it. I think it went a little smoother this time. Anyway, we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.